The definition of prison is a building in which people are legally held, right, as a punishment for a crime they have committed or while awaiting trial. So it's a place of confinement. You are there alone. Sometimes you have inmates, but you are confined. Amen. It's difficult to imagine what it feels like to be in prison if you've never been there. So some of you, like me, have watched it on TV. We don't know what the inside looks like, but we have seen it on TV. So we can only talk about what it has been portrayed, how it's been portrayed, right, in the movies. And then for some of us, we've had first-hand information from people that have been inside. They went in for one reason or the other, and they came out. So they were able to describe what it's like, life in jail. What is it like? What does it feel to be behind bars? So we can't say we know what it's like to be there when we've never been there, right? We can only imagine what Paul and Silas were going through. So we all know prison is not a good place to be, right? We know that it's a very uncomfortable place. It's a very depressive place. So you are there basically to be tortured, so you can easily get depressed while you are in there. So if anyone is happy to stay there, then there's really something seriously wrong somewhere, because nobody is going to be happy. Even if you have been, you're under house arrest. The fact that you can't leave your house, you're confined to this one place, you're not going to enjoy it. So that is why I'm saying it can be depressing, it can be uncomfortable, and it's not some place where anybody would love to be, right? So from Paul's experience, we can only imagine the emotional, mental, and also the physical torture that can happen whilst you are there. People outside prison, may always want to pity those that are inside, but they themselves don't realize that they are in prison. Okay, this is what we are going to learn about today. So sometimes you're looking at people and saying, oh, I feel sorry for that person. That person has been in jail for so many years, or that person is going to jail for this and that, and they're going to be there for a long time. Yes, it's a sad situation. But sometimes we don't realize that we ourselves are also in jail. So prison is not only the physical confinement, but it can also be mental and spiritual. And that is what we are going to look at. So most of us are familiar with the physical part. But what about the mental, the spiritual part of being in prison? The psalmist wrote in Psalm 142, verse 7. I'm going to read it from the Amplified Version. It reads, bring my soul out of prison, O adversity. This is what the psalmist said. Bring my soul out of prison, O adversity, so that I may give thanks and praise your name. The righteous will surround me in triumph, for you will look after me. So the word adversity here means a troubling time. He's talking about, he was crying out to God and saying to God, bring my soul out of prison, bring my soul out of adversity, bring my soul out of a troubling time, bring my soul out of a difficult situation. So adversary can also mean a hardship. It's when you are not in a comfortable zone. You are weary, you are tired, you are doubtful, you are beaten down, you're feeling, the situation is unbearable, and you also want to give up. So that is the position that the psalmist was in, where he was talking about, he was crying out to God so that God could take him out of prison. That is why I said there is the physical building of a prison, but there is also the mental state, there is also the emotional state of being in prison. So David wrote this psalm when he was hiding in a cave. He wasn't in his comfortable home. He was hiding from his enemy. So he wasn't in that kind of prison like we have read about from, with Paul and Silas. He was in a cave. Nevertheless, he was in trouble. That is why he was hiding. I'm going to read the whole, let me rather just read the whole Psalm 142. Psalm 142. It's not so long, but yes, I'll read it from the book of, I'll read it from the Amplified Version, Psalm 142. I cry aloud with my voice to the Lord. I make supplication with my voice to the Lord. I pour out my complaint before him. I declare my trouble before him. When my spirit was overwhelmed and weak within me, wrapped in darkness, you knew my path. In the way where I walk, they have hidden a trap for me. Look to the right, the point of attack, and see, for there is no one who has regard to me to act in my favor. Escape has failed me, and I have nowhere to run. No one cares about my life. So there we have it. Okay, this was the psalm. That is what David was lamenting about. David is feeling trapped. He doesn't know what to do. He is in a cave. He is feeling confined. There's nowhere else for him to run to, right? And this is how we feel at times. It's like you are trapped. There's no room for you to do anything. Sometimes you are broke. You have borrowed money from every place. Nobody else is going to lend you anything. So where are you going to run to? Financially, you may feel trapped. You may feel like you are confined. You can't move forward, right? So for some people, it's with their career. They have tried everything. They have looked for a job everywhere. They have tried business. Nothing is working. So you send out a lot of applications, but nothing is coming up. Nobody's even responding. They don't even have auto response for you. So what do? You have even contacted friends, family, whoever you can, who comes to your mind so that they can assist you or they can throw you those puff and pass kind of adverts. You have prayed, and nothing has happened about that. It feels like you are confined. It feels like you have no hope. This is how David was feeling right there in the cave. He couldn't go anywhere because when he stepped out, the enemy was going to find him. So that is why I'm saying prison is not just about the building where we see Paul and Silas, but it can be a mental state. It can be an emotional state. Amen. So now, for some people, it is about marriage. They have prayed, they have tried everything, concerning their marriage, but it is not working. I could go on and give a lot more examples regarding what kind of prison other people may find themselves in. It might be illness. You have been to the hospital, you have tried every medication. It's like you're not progressing. You take medication, but you don't progress. That also is a kind of prison that you can find yourself in. Amen. And as I was preparing, I was having these questions. Have you ever felt trapped? Or are you feeling trapped today? You are in a situation where you are feeling like you can't go beyond a certain point. It's like there's a wall around you. So the definition that I gave about prison is you being confined in a place. You can't go beyond a certain boundary. You are just there. So what situation is it that is making you feel like there's a wall around you? You can't break through this barrier. So that's exactly what prison feels like. You are restricted. Okay, so you don't have to be jailed. You don't have to be at some holding jail or prison for you to say you're in prison. Right there in your house, you can be feeling imprisoned. You can be feeling restricted. And I was thinking to myself that this is why some people even take their own lives. They end up committing suicide because they feel they've reached a dead end. There's nothing else that is happening. They have tried everything else. It's like there's just a wall. They can't think. Everything is just crashing in. But we need to pray. We need to do something about this kind of feeling. Amen. I want us to read on and see what the psalmist says in verse 5. That's Psalm 142 and verse 5. Let's read on. He says, I cried out to you, O Lord. I said, you are my refuge, my portion in the land of the living. Give attention to my cry, for I am brought very low. At some other point, you will see the psalmist saying, I think it's Psalm 62, he's saying, hear my cry, O Lord, attend to my prayer, and he's saying, lead me to the rock that is higher than I, higher than myself. So there is somebody that is higher than yourself, higher than that situation that you are feeling, so he says here, give attention to my cry, for I am brought very low. So if you are brought very low, you will really feel like you can't even get out of that dungeon. The prison is actually called, the other versions use dungeon. So when you are there, you are feeling like you can't get out of it. You can't get out of the situation. So the psalmist was saying, rescue me from my persecutors, for they are stronger than I. Bring my soul out of prison. And remember, the way I defined prison, it also means adversity. And this is what this version is giving us. For prison, it's adding adversity. And for adversity, I said it can be hardship, whatever issue is difficult for you, whatever situation you are in that is making you, rather that is grieving you. You can't get out of that situation. This is what the psalm is talking about. Bring my soul out of prison or adversity, so that I may give thanks and praise your name. The righteous will surround me in triumph, for you will look after me. So David turned to God for help. In that time where he felt everything, there was a war around him, he turned to God. He recognizes God as his refuge, as his strong tower, as a hiding place, right? So a refuge is a place where you run to. You are in trouble, you run to, and you are safe in that place. And this is what we see David doing. At that point, he runs to God, and he finds a hiding place there.